For a lot of the country, it's people bracing for some crazy, crazy snow and freezing rain and possible blizzards, and then temperatures that are going to get below zero and stay there for a few days. For a lot of people, it's going to be a very, very rough and tumble Christmas if they were even able to get to where their family is. I'll explain that sound in just 1 second. Welcome, and there it goes, to the show. Everybody, good to be with you. I'm Tony Katz, presented by Americans for Prosperity, americansforprosperity.org, economic liberty, free speech. These are my things, people. Good things. I was able to get out of Arizona. For those of you who listen to my radio show, I debated whether or not to go on vacation for months because the prices were just absolutely criminally insane, and I chose not to do it over the summer because, well, the prices were too much. This was not rational, wasn't economically responsible for me to do. As much as I like to get away as much as anybody else, but the prices were nuts this winter. Absolutely crazy, ridiculous. And I couldn't find, I started looking in August for December, couldn't find it. September, October, November, early December. I just found the right deal, the right place. So I am indeed somewhere pretty warm. And I will be getting into a hot tub momentarily. I feel bad when saying that to people who are locked in an ice storm. But this is what's happening. You got to deal with the world the way it is, not the way you wish that it was. Although I do hope everybody is safe and sound in that bad weather. Joe Biden doesn't understand the world as it is because Joe Biden lives in a world all of his own. And in Joe Biden's world, he's a nice, decent guy. He's grandpa. He's Uncle Joe. He's just terrific. This is a nasty, nasty man. And I took incredible umbrage with what I think is a lovely message, which was Joe Biden saying this.
So my hope this Christmas season is that we take a few moments of quiet reflection, find that stillness in the heart of Christmas. It's at the heart of Christmas. And really look at each other, not as Democrats or Republicans, not as members of Team Red or Team Blue, but as who we really are, fellow Americans, fellow human beings worthy of being treated with dignity and respect. I sincerely hope this holiday season will drain the poison that has infected our politics and set us against one another. I hope this Christmas season marks a fresh start for our nation because there's so much that unites us as Americans, so much more that unites us than divides us. We're truly blessed to live in this nation. And I truly hope we take the time to look out for one another, not at one, for one another.
Now, in any normal time, in any normal place, one could say, well, that's a lovely message. And we should take it to heart. And as a matter of fact, we should try to do that. Try and get rid of the poison. Try and end the levels of rancor and realize that there's a great nation here, great things happening, and some things we can do better. Worthy of disagreement in some subjects, and let's do that. It's hard to take serious a man who says we should get rid of the poison, but just months ago was saying this.
So God bless you all, God protect our troops, and God give some of our Republican friends some enlightenment. Thank you.
What am I supposed to do? Pretend it wasn't said? Pretend there isn't a history of things that Joe Biden hasn't said that are all about divisiveness, all about rancor, all about separating people, dividing people, attacking people, belittling people, shaming people? Am I the only person who's noticed that Joe Biden has been nasty and a bully his entire career? Smug? And should we just take a look at Justice Clarence Thomas and realize, well, yes, this has been him his entire career. This has been Joe Biden. Joe Biden yelling at people on the campaign trail. Joe Biden, if you don't know if you're going to vote for me or Trump, then you ain't black. That Joe Biden? A divider from the very beginning. And this line here about ending the poison, it's not the first time he said it.
So I'm not going to change the direction. I said I ran for 3 reasons. I'm going to continue to stay where I am. And I know I fully understand the legitimate concern that what I'm saying is wrong, okay? One is that I said we're going to restore the soul of the country, begin to treat each other with decency, honor, and integrity. And it's starting to happen. People are, the conversations are becoming more normal, becoming more, how can I say it, decent. Second thing.
His conversations haven't become more decent. As a matter of fact, his conversations have gotten less and less decent.
Under the Republican plan, many of the biggest corporations are going to go back to paying zero in taxes, as they did, as I told you earlier. 55 of them making $40 billion, paid nothing. Look, folks, that's their plan. It's reckless and it's irresponsible. It would make inflation considerably worse. Badly hurt working class and middle class Americans.
Republicans were going to make inflation worse? Who believes this? It doesn't matter. He just says it. And it's just more proof. And I didn't go through the entire history of Biden over the last 2 years. That would have taken way too long. But how does a guy who lies like this and a guy who attacks like this expect us to believe he wants us to come together? You mean we come together if we're behind him? That's absolutely right, dreaded D. Rose. That's exactly what he's talking about. If we get behind him, if we agree with him, then we'll all come together. But if we disagree with him, well, then we're despicable and awful and bigots and racists. Oh, and Lord forbid you're not okay with surgeries for children for, changing genders.
When hospitals, libraries, and community centers are threatened and intimidated, because they support LGBTQ children and families, we have to speak out. We must stop the hate and violence, like we just saw in Colorado Springs, where a place of acceptance and celebration was targeted for violence and terror. We need to challenge the hundreds of callous, cynical laws introduced in the states targeting transgender children, terrifying families, and criminalizing doctors who give children the care they need. We have to protect these children so they know they're loved, and we will stand up for them and say they can seek for themselves.
Children can't speak for themselves. That's why they have parents. And what happened at the nightclub in Colorado, the shooter identifies as non-binary, but they don't accept that. Now, do they? The Biden crew and anybody who aligns with them, you're not allowed to say you're non-binary. Only we can decide whether or not you're non-binary. Isn't that something? If you say you're non-binary, I guess nobody can question it. But they can. I can't, but they can. But the shooter says that they're non-binary. Did I do that right? And all of a sudden, that's something that can be questioned. He forgot what actually happened in that shooting. And if you did, I understand. It fell off the front pages real quick because it no longer followed narrative, which is awful because 5 people lost their lives. 5 innocent people were murdered. They didn't deserve to die. And I think they should be remembered by a press, but the press is more interested in narrative than it is, and I don't know, actually discussing what's going on in America. But children should be able to determine their gender. Children should be able to get surgeries. That's care. That's not care. That's abuse. And if I say it's abuse, if I notice you're the abuser, all of a sudden I get even more vitriol. If I agree with you, children get abused. If I disagree with you, I get abused. You know what? I can take it. I'll take it. You're wrong, Joe Biden. Stop abusing children. Children can't determine their own gender. Children can't decide to have these surgeries. Children can't decide their medical future. That's what parents are for, amongst many, many other things. And those people who don't believe that want to cleave children away from their parents. Now, the way I just had that conversation is rational, is normal, is based on the facts on the ground. I've got a millennia of history that says we treat children differently than adults. We find that societies that treat children as adults and engage in child brides and other things are barbaric, and we oppose those as nations that are absolutely backwards. So that's what we call them. We oppose those nations. Now, all of a sudden, we want to bring that to the United States, and it's enlightened, and it's something that we should protect? Absolutely not. That's abuse. And when I note this, based on what I can give you from historical perspective, based on what we discuss as a nation, all of a sudden, I'm the villain? Fine, I'm the villain. But don't tell me you want to end the poison. when you believe in such poisonous things. And don't tell me, Joe, you want to end the poison when you engage in such rancor. Anybody who disagrees with you is a racist or a bigot. Anybody who disagrees with the party is a racist or a bigot. I'm so old, Joe Biden. That's another plane going by. There is a private airport not too far from here. I have seen more private jets in the past 24 hours than I may have seen in my life. And what I've realized is that I need to totally rework my radio contract because that's the only way to fly and everybody else is a sucker. Joe Biden can't speak to me about poison in a society when he introduces it. I was about to say, I'm so old that I remember when Joe Biden told the country that democracy was on the line. Well, Republicans took the House of Representatives. How's democracy doing? Still here, right? Still here, still fine, not a problem, not an issue. It was a lie. How many more times are we going to see this administration lie? And they're going to now tell us about doing away with poison and doing away with rancor. This administration that tells us that everything on the border is fine. The problem here is Republicans. The Kamala Harris put forth that talking point. The vice president, Martha Raddatz of ABC News, decided to follow up on that on a conversation with Governor Greg Abbott of Texas. You hear yourself talking about the open border, and Ron DeSantis is talking about the open border. So aren't the Republicans the one bringing up open borders? Aren't they the problem? That Greg Abbott didn't say to Martha Raddatz, what the hell is wrong with you? That's the problem with Republicans. Not tough enough, not strong enough, not willing to take it right to them. It's a despicable, disgusting nonsense lie that Martha Raddatz got into there. Why not say so? You want to talk about another line?
Of course, in the headline, a lot of what's happening is the decline in gas prices, but we know how salient that is for typical drivers, particularly in the holiday season. Prices at the pump down almost $2 a gallon. That's about $200 in increased discretionary income for a typical two-car family. And so we're seeing that feed through into the process as well. All of it leads up to, people have paid less attention to this, but over the course of the last 5 months, we've seen real wage growth. And for non-supervisory earners, we've seen real wage growth over that period that has been pretty healthy. And that.
Why? Why do they do this? Real wage growth has not kept up with inflation, which keeps going up. So why do you keep talking about this? Why do you keep talking about the fact that you created jobs when we still don't have more jobs than before the pandemic? We have not filled all of those jobs. What are you talking about? But they want to end the rancor, but they'll still lie. How do you end rancor if you continue the lies? The answer is you don't. That's why Joe Biden can't be taken seriously. Joe Biden's commentary here is just this, once again, amazing disconnect between what's happening in the real world, in real life. He says he wants to end it, but all he does is exacerbate it. That's what we've got 2 more years of. That's just spectacular. Let me go to the comments. Wait, hold on. Wait, what was that? It was money I never had to begin with. How was what an increase? You mean the real wages? Well, you could argue that some places are paying more because they need the people, but you can't argue that the wage increase is more than the rise in inflation. So therefore, what value is it? Oh, to be a value somewhere down the road if they still have the job down the road. Maybe. This administration is so far removed from the American people. Yes, it is. And so you wonder, well, if that's the case, how in the world do they win re-election? How do they keep the Senate? There's a great bit of conversation that has to go on there. We'll do that another time. And then I got asked this right here. This is Freddie. What's up, Freddie? What do you think about President Zelensky coming in front of Congress and asking for more help? If you follow me on Locals, TonyKatz.locals.com right there, I have a video that explains this that I made before he spoke. And I said his entire conversation is meaningless. It's totally meaningless. What Zelensky says to Congress, who cares? Because Zelensky is not the story. The story is our support of Ukraine is about taking out either Russia in toto or Vladimir Putin in specific. So which one is it? What is our plan? And when that plan occurs, what comes next? And what is that going to cost us? And if we are focusing all these dollars on Ukraine and their fight against Russia, what does that leave us to deal with the threat of China, which could then utilize Russia as a vassal state if indeed Putin was ruined? There's a lot to get into on that subject. Now, I don't mind, what's the word I'm looking for? Of Zelensky, Vladimir Zelensky. I don't mind him coming and asking for money. Look, his country's been invaded. His country has been ripped apart. People have been killed. It has been horrific. These people are living under threat every single day. You and I could both see that he wants more dollars. The question for us is exactly how many dollars is it going to take? The normal flow of events is that we put money towards these things because we won't put our people towards these things. And it's right. We should not put our people towards these things, but we put our money towards these things. And when this started, I had no problem putting my money towards these things. The question for us now is, do you continue? And at what moment do you stop? And that answer doesn't come until you ask yourself, is the plan to get rid of Putin? Is the plan to change Russia completely? And how do these things affect our relationship in terms of how we deal with thwarting China? We don't have those answers. We're nowhere near close to those answers. So therefore, I must say that what Zelensky had to offer didn't mean anything. Zelensky's conversation means zero. It's our conversation. And I don't think anybody's having it proper right now. Tony has stocking cap hair. All right, so my hair is a little weird. I got a little flying thing right back here. It's not as poofed. Like this looks like I'm going bald right here, but I'm not. Is that the light? Oh no, maybe I am. What are you gonna do? I've had crazy, awesome hair for years. If I end up losing a little bit of it, whatever. Like, I know people freak out about hair. I don't. It's like going gray. You know, if I go gray, do you know how good I'm gonna look going gray? Damn, I'm gonna be pretty. Damn, right there. So yeah, I'm not worried about it. But no, my hair doesn't have its normal poof. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do right there? Guys, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being part of the show. If it's all right with you, I'm getting back to vacation. This is my plan. And my thanks to Americans for Prosperity. Man, great partnership. Love what they do. AmericansForProsperity.org. Economic liberty, free speech. Find the chapter near you. Go to AmericansForProsperity.org and see what they're all about. See what information you can get. Cool stuff. I don't agree with them on everything, which is kind of awesome because they're up for that too. They want to facilitate this. They want to build those conversations. They're up for it. I enjoy that quite a bit. I enjoy working with them. My thanks to you. I'm back tomorrow. Be safe, man. These storms are going to be rough across the Midwest. So be safe. And I will admit, I won't lie. I'm glad I'm not there for it. I'd be lying if I said otherwise. Vacation calls. I'll catch you later.